Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have some really big news to talk about coming out of the LCS. Obviously, we are headed into week 2 of the LCS lock-in tournament. This is going to be starting tomorrow. A ton of people are really hyped up and excited for it, seeing how teams and rosters and players, coaches, drafts, and everything can improve from week to week. You know, there's going to be some teams who come out in week 2 and look way better than they did last week, who look way worse. Whole teams, players, rosters. It's going to be super fun and interesting to watch. Week 1 was an absolute success. Week 2 should hopefully be really good. But in today's video, we have a big update coming from Flyquest regarding their jungle situation. This is about Josedeodo and his visa issues, because he was not able to play last week, and we heard he was hopefully going to be making it into the United States this week as his visa was approved, and you know, we're going to be able to see if he's going to be able to be ready to go and play this weekend. So that should be really exciting, because obviously Flyquest and their fans probably didn't have the best time in week 1, but their hopes and dreams are still alive heading into week 2, and that's super exciting. But before we get into that, real quick, I just want to mention a word from today's sponsor, which is Draft Buff. This is a fantasy league for your favorite esports, a fantasy esports, you know, website and app. You can play it now in the browser. You can download it in the App Store, download it on Google Play. And the best news is they offer contests for the LCS lock-in tournament. Even though LCS doesn't start for 2 more weeks, you can play fantasy right now, even though this is like a preseason tournament. They have Draft Royale going on right now, which is this cool game mode where you get like a certain amount of money, and then you have to mix and match your players at certain prices to stay under the salary cap, and you can change up your team each week. So this is the roster that I've come up for the LCS lock-in week 2. I'm rocking with Alfari, Closer, Power Beevil, FBI, Core JJ, and 100 Thieves. You can see I'm 44th out of 101, so maybe you don't want to copy off my picks, but if you want to go make some picks of your own, the link is going to be in the description down below to play Draft Royale and Draft Buff for LCS lock-in week 2. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. With that being said, here we go, getting right into today's topic, which is again the Flyquest jungle situation. This is a big story because, again, Josedeodo was a really hyped up signing. The team was overall really hyped. And again, Flyquest tweeted out, this is a couple hours ago, good news, Josedeodo has arrived in Los Angeles. Again, we heard from him last week that his visa was going to be approved, and he should be coming to the United States sometime during this week. And again, he arrived just on time, just 1 day before, which probably isn't the best. You know, he's still going to be jet lagged. He hasn't really gotten to scrim or practice with the team or anything like that. But I think everyone does assume he will be playing and starting tomorrow. But I don't know if we've gotten official word from anything like that yet. But I would assume that is the plan. But again, Flyquest did not look very good last week. They did look really rough. Obviously, NXI was put in a rough situation, but none of the members of Flyquest looked that great. This was a team that was very hyped up in the preseason by fans, but just people, you know, in the LCS in general, because they did have a lot of young, interesting, very good pieces, but it was honestly a lot of hype because, yes, Diamond was awesome in the Academy League and he was coming to the LCS with a ton of hype. Palafox was awesome in the Academy League, coming to the LCS with a ton of hype. Johnson was a beast last year. Licorice has been pretty good historically, even though he didn't have the best split in the summer. And then obviously Josedeodo is coming off an amazing season where he had a really exciting Worlds run. But again, it was a lot of hype, a lot of promise, a lot of talent, and not necessarily as much substance. And so far, that's what we've seen from the Flyquest roster. Like, yes, these players were amazing in the academy scene and stuff, but man, if you look at historically the track record of players coming from academy into the LCS, not all of them, just because you're good in academy doesn't necessarily mean everyone is able to take that step up to the LCS and be good, let alone great right away from the very first week. So I think people honestly were overrating Flyquest a little bit, and yes, there is the criticism that, you know, they haven't had Josedeodo yet, they haven't had their full roster. He's going to be able to come in, going to be a big upgrade over NXI, and people are going to be hyped up and excited, and the team should hopefully look better. And I don't disagree with that. Josedeodo is an awesome piece. He's going to be exciting. He's going to be fun. The fans are going to be excited. The players are going to be excited. I'm sure it'll boost like team morale. And it'll obviously be an improvement on the Rift. Like no flame to NXI or whatever. You know, awesome of him to step in for that time. I'm sure it was a really tough situation. And Josedeodo is going to be in a tough situation this weekend as well. But he should be an improvement over them. But man, this Flyquest team had so many issues going on. I don't know if a simple upgrade in the jungle is going to be able to change everything that they have going on, all the issues they have going on. I think in the end, right now, Flyquest is just a young, inexperienced team that's going to need a lot of time to develop, a lot of time to kind of mesh together, learn their play style, and just they all need to find their place in the LCS. I mean, even Licorice, who's kind of the most veteran guy on this team, the guy that they were kind of building around as their big player, he has not looked great so far. He's had some weird games, he had some weird TPs, some weird plays. Palafox has definitely not been as good as people had expected so far. Again, that's just 2 games in, but he has not lit the world on fire or anything. I think Diamond has looked very sloppy and bad. And I think that's kind of made Johnson look worse in a way. And it's been rough so far. But again, Josedeodo has arrived in LA. He has a huge fan base. People are so excited. Flyquest has been tweeting about it a ton. Obviously, they had this tweet as well, which it doesn't translate perfectly, but us watching the plane to get Josedeodo, or the plane that's going to get Josedeodo, I'm not sure exactly what that translates into. But again, just a ton of memes, a ton of talking about him, and that is very exciting. Again, I wasn't sure exactly if he's going to be playing this week. I still don't know, but I assume he is going to be. As far as the schedule, again, Flyquest only played 2 games last week, so they have 2 games coming up tomorrow, which is going to be Friday, January 22nd. And they're 0-2 right now, so they're not eliminated yet, but they do need to win some games and win some games fast and kind of figure things out. They play Evil Geniuses first. That's going to be a tough game. Evil Geniuses has a ton to play for. They're trying to lock up the 1 seed. They played very well last week, and they're going to be coming in with a ton of hype, a ton of momentum, and a ton of confidence into this week. And it's going to be tough for Evil Geniuses. It's going to be tough for Flyquest. Obviously, Josedeodo coming in. Who knows how fresh will be or whatever. Sven Skaren is no slouch of a matchup. In the top lane, that's going to be rough for Licorice as well. Impact is looking so good, but he's only played Renekton games so far, so maybe if Flyquest is able to pick away the Renekton or ban it away or something, that game could be a little bit interesting. But again, Evil Geniuses has kind of overperformed people's expectations so far. Flyquest is a little bit underperformed, so I would assume most people do not expect that game to go Flyquest way, and that would put Flyquest at 0-3. And then this last game of the day with Immortals would become very interesting all of a sudden. This could be a game to decide who actually gets out of groups and who actually makes it to the knockout stage. For Immortals, making it to the knockout stage would be nice, but it's just their academy team. If their academy team gets to play another best of 3, I mean, that shouldn't really matter too much. But for Flyquest, getting to make it to the knockout stage and getting to play a best of 3, just playing additional games, especially with Josedeodo just getting here, and that team definitely wanting stage time and practice time and time to synergize and build up, and just more games under their belt, I feel like would mean a ton. So I feel like Flyquest has a ton to play for in that game, and obviously I would expect them to beat Immortals. Yes, Flyquest has not looked great, and Immortals actually has been able to pick up a win, but they're not playing Revenge or Insanity tomorrow, so in the end, I think it should be able to work out for Flyquest. I think they probably will finish 1-3. I mean, if we take a look at their standings right now, you can see here, they're 0-2, but there's 2 1-win teams ahead of them, because if we go back to last week, what actually happened, which was crazy, was they lost to Team Dignitas, which a lot of people did not expect, and you can see just kind of how this game went. A 0-4-0 for Licorice on the Ornn, which is just not good enough. Palafox with a 1-4 on the Orianna, NXI 0-2-2, Johnson 0-2-2, Diamond 2-4. So just nobody really standing out, nobody really shining, and just being a really tough start for Flyquest against Team Dignitas, which is absolutely a game that they were supposed to win, and a game they needed to win if they wanted to end up with a good standing in this group. When you have teams like Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses in this group, which are going to be really tough matchups as well. The next day, getting to play against Cloud9, obviously that one also not going their way. Cloud9 looked a lot better. They almost had a perfect game in this one. I think Flyquest ended up getting 1 tower right before the game ended, but it had been rough. Obviously a kill-less game, an assist-less game for Flyquest. So for that being their 2 games, a loss to Dignitas, which people kind of rate as one of the bottom teams in the LCS, and then a perfect game, pretty much in quotes, by Cloud9. Even though Cloud9 is considered to be one of the better teams, Flyquest really showed no signs of life. And again, coming into the season, in those preseason rankings, I have them ranked like 5th or 6th, but people were really starting to buy into the hype. People were really moving this team up the ladder. I saw some people trying to rate Flyquest as high as like 3rd or something. So to come into this tournament and to be 0-2 so far, looking at a 0-3 if they can't pull off an upset against Evil Geniuses, and then maybe going 1-3 in the groups, that would really not be good enough. That would also really not live up to the expectations. Obviously, lucky for Flyquest, even though they've looked terrible so far, this is just a preseason tournament, and if there's a time to look bad, if there's a time to not play very well, this would be it. They still have a ton of time to get things under control. They are a young, inexperienced team that is going to take time to ramp up, and I fully believe that they will be able to do it. But looking at the standings again, like we were saying, there is these 2 1-win teams ahead of them, so Flyquest can still get 2 wins. Even if they get 1 win, there is still a chance for them to make it out of this group. But if they do make it out of this group, they're looking at the 3 or 4 seed, and you're looking at Team Liquid and 100 Thieves on the other side, which would be really rough. Early best of 3 matches for Flyquest, and that would be very difficult. So they're in a rough position. They're in a tough spot, again, for a team that people expected to be a little bit better. But I do think making it to the best of 3, making it to the knockout stage, and getting to play a series against Liquid or 100 Thieves, which have looked like two very, very solid teams so far, would be so great for just the development of some of these players, and also, again, getting just more time to play games, building those synergies up, everything like that. Getting these young players to feel the pressure and how a series goes, because best of 1s are so different than best of 3s, are so different than best of 5s, and best of 3s don't really come up that often, so maybe it's not the best experience in the world, but just getting more of a series experience can only help you as you build towards the future, where you hope to be making like playoffs and stuff like that, where you're going to be constantly playing best of 5s and having to make adjustments over the course of the series and stuff like that. But just even to get the experience of playing against Team Liquid and 100 Thieves, because they have some amazing players on their team, and that could be great for guys like Diamond and guys like Palafox to get the experience of just matching up against some of the best players that the LCS has to offer. So that it could really only help them. While this is a preseason tournament, it doesn't matter really at the end of the day exactly what happens to Flyquest, but I just think that the best case scenario for them would obviously be getting out of groups and getting to play some more games, even though at this point I don't expect their run in this tournament to be too long, and I don't think a lot of other people do as well. But it'll be interesting to see again how they're able to develop from week to week, how big of an improvement Josedeodo makes to this team, how much better does he make them play, and then how this team is able to kind of take what they've learned and put it into the LCS season, and how they're able to go from there, because that is going to be very, very interesting to see and watch. Because again, Josedeodo has an insane fan base. People love him. People are so hyped up for this Flyquest team and roster. So hopefully they can begin to turn things around a little bit. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. It helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm. I would appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think Flyquest is going to look like with Josedeodo in the lineup? Do you think it's going to be a big improvement, a small improvement, no change at all? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to update on my latest content. Let's hit 7K as fast as we can. That would be super dope. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.